Hi, this is Phil DeBella, and you're listening to FlashCast by PDB. And in the spirit of 2020, as I said, I'm going to be bringing on some people to share their wisdom and their experience. And today I have the wonderful Nicholas, who's just finished grade 12 in 2019 at Brisbane Grammar. Nicholas is the son of a very good friend of mine and a very talented young man who has a lot of wisdom to share. So we're going to interview Nicholas today, and hopefully that any of you that have got kids going through school, especially those this year that are going to finish grade 12, we want you to play this to them and hear some great insights from a young man who's done remarkable things and will no doubt go on to do some even more remarkable things. So Nicholas, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So nice for you having me. Yeah, this is really cool. I would love to share some of my wisdom.
No, great to have you. So again, keep it relaxed. It's easy. It's all good. My kids have been interviewed. I like to keep this all unscripted, as you know. There's nothing in front of us. I'm just going to ask you some questions. Don't be nervous. Just speak from the heart, and remember that it's all about trying to help people better themselves. And especially, there's a lot of parents that listen to this, and a lot of kids now going through obviously grade 12. And it doesn't matter whether they're going through grade 12. It also helps anyone at school. So tell me, you finished grade 12. 2019, how does it feel? First thing that comes to mind.
I feel kind of lost, actually. Like, I've done really well and I can pretty much do what I want to do, but I have no idea like what path I want to go down in life. I have no idea what like I'm passionate about yet. I've just got like a really vague idea that I want to go into business, but I don't know like whereabouts because it's very broad.
Yeah, and that's okay, right? And one of the things I tell my kids, and my kids are 11 and 9, as you know, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the answers. And it's so refreshing to hear somebody who's just finished grade 12 say, I don't know exactly where I want to be, but you have an idea. Business is obviously something you're passionate about and you're interested about. Tell me, go back to school. Tell me, what's one of the most challenging things that you remember from school?
I guess like the hardest thing for me was learning how to study. Like when I went to grammar, I was like a straight C student. I had no idea like what I needed to do to get to like A's. And then I guess like a lot of hard work and a lot of trial and error got me there. And that was the hardest thing for me coming from like a state school. That was like a big leap. And then, yeah, that's like the biggest jump. Yeah.
No, well, that's great. And, you know, my son's very similar, right? Obviously not as old as you, but when Ali went from a private school, Holy Spirit, and went to Churchy in grade 1, and of course nowhere near 12 years later of you, he found exactly the same thing. He went from being top of the class to bottom of the class, and you know, and he had to work very hard. And of course you've worked very hard, because let me say that Nicholas has achieved amazing results at grammar in the top 2% of this country, which is obviously very proud for himself, you know, obviously himself most importantly, and then obviously his family as well. And I think lesson number 1 from Nicholas is if you do the work, you get the results. You know, and it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. And he came into grammar being C's, came out of grammar in the top 2% in the country, right?
Yeah, like that's exactly right. Like I was in the bottom 20% of my cohort, and I guess like that really acted like as a drive for me. I really wanted to improve. So I studied like 4 hours a night for like 4 years, and then I like saw a gradual like progression in my grades, and I figured out how the system worked, and then I ended up doing extremely well.
Yeah, and that's awesome, mate, and that's inspiring. So tell me, what drove you to study those 4 hours? Because there's so many people in this world today that want the results but won't do the work. And one thing I love about you, Nicholas, is you've done the work, and that's inspirational and a great message for people is you don't get the results without the work. What drove you? What were you thinking when you said, I have to do that work? Because there's a lot of people out there that are not prepared to study 4 hours a night.
I guess like the main thing that I was driven by was just I really wanted the respect of my peers. Like I was at the bottom, like I felt like I was a nobody. Like when I was at primary school, like I felt like I was being noticed, like I was average, it was all good. But then I went to grammar and I was just like the bottom. And I guess like it eventually like really got to me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I want to make something of myself while I'm here. So I worked really hard and then eventually started getting academic awards. And then I was really proud of myself. Yeah.
Awesome. And you know, and I think the key message out of that is very simply, you had a vision. You had a vision of what you wanted to be and what you wanted to achieve, and you did the work. And I can't say it enough. You need to do the work. Tell me, what's a highlight for you in your schooling years? You know, 12 years of school. It's now 13 years. You didn't have to do 13 years. Now they do. But, you know, what was the highlight for you?
The highlight for me was really doing sport. Like, I found that it was a great way to manage stress. So I did cross country and swimming. I did about 12 hours of training a week, and that like really stopped me from like burning out, and it like kept my mind clear and stuff. And I made a lot of good friends through that as well. So I found that to be really like good for me mentally.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Tell me, how important are friends at school, my friend? Because I talk about it with the kids, about the people and the circle that you keep. Tell me, how did they, firstly, how important were they? And how did you go about choosing the right people in your circle?
They really like, the friends that I picked were like extremely smart, and they were like a lot smarter than me. And I guess that sort of set a bar that I wanted to be. And I constantly tried to improve to get to their level. And then because of that, I decided to work harder, and then I got their advice and I seek their advice. And I would say having a good group of friends is extremely important if you want to do well.
And Jim Collins says, the famous Jim Collins says, you're the sum of the 5 people you've got around you. Things I talk about in obviously the FlashCast is you are a prodigy of the people that you keep around you. You are that company, because it's all about mindset. You have to have this positive mindset constantly to be the best that you can be. And remember that whilst you can be in a competitive situation, like churchy, like grammar, you know, for school kids, they're in competitive situations all the time. And that comes with a lot of stress, comes with a lot of issues and all the rest of it. The true focus should be on how they think about themselves and how they want to be the best. So tell me, Nick, how did you deal with the pressure of what comes with an elite school?
Mainly just through sport. Like, I really did endurance sports like swimming and cross country, because like I found that they really take your mind off the work, like physical pain. Like, you forget about everything and you're really focused on like breaking your PB, and it instantly takes your mind off the stress of like trying to do well. And I guess going to a competitive school, a lot of people are trying to screw you over to like get up in the ranks, and that sort of get like, it can get to you like mentally. And I think doing sport is like the biggest cure for that, and not losing it at people, just like being humble and then not like going crazy.
Yeah, some great advice there. As I said, Nicholas is a very wise young man. Nicholas, tell me, message that you would give to people at, you know, doing grade 12 this year. What would be some of the learnings that you would say? Because I say to them, I always say that wisdom comes with experience. Once you've experienced things, you can be wise. So you're a lot wiser than the people going through grade 12 this year. What messages would you give the people that are starting grade 12 this year?
I would say that like work isn't everything. Like in year 12, I like completely shut out a lot of family and friends to do well. And I regret doing that a lot, because like I got really lonely and a bit depressed like through year 12. And that sort of saddened me. So I guess if there's one thing to take away, is definitely work hard, but don't like shut other people out.
Yeah, great message there, isn't it? Because you do need people around you, and you still need to have, I always talk about, Nicholas, professional, personal and family. And it doesn't matter whether it's grade 11, grade 12, whether it's university, whether it's business, whether it's everything. And it's messages I've missed in the past and not learnt from, well, I've learnt now, but didn't listen to in the past, was you still need that balance of personal, professional and family. So I'm going to finish our interview, and you've been amazing, and I'm sure the listeners love this, but I want you to think about one thing you want to achieve personally, one thing you want to achieve family, and one thing you want to achieve in terms of business. And your business this year will obviously be something like university. What is one thing that you want to do and achieve? So if we're sitting here in 1 year's time, what does 2020 look for you? What was the number one successful thing in terms of family, personally, and in terms of professionally, which is work or schooling?
I think I want to get a lot closer with my family. Like, I feel quite disconnected from the now, just finishing year 12. Like, I didn't even know how old my sister was turning, and she's like, her birthday's tomorrow, so that was a bit weird. And then, so I guess like I would really want to spend more time with them and understand them more. Business wise, I would really like to get like a really good GPA at uni, so I can go on exchange next year. and at the same time work like a reasonable job, save up some money so I can have some fun on holidays. And then what was the other one? Personally, I really want to... that's hard. I have to think about it.
That's all right. We can come back to it.
Okay.
Nicholas, you've been amazing. Thank you for sharing. Great to have you on the show. You've been listening to Phil DeBella and Nicholas. This is FlashCast by PDB. Until next time, be the best you can be.